Good evening, everybody. You all know me as Mary Bingham, and you know my ancestors are Mary Esty, Esther Elwell, Susanna Martin, and Sarah Wiles. All four women were wrongfully accused of the capital crime of witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts, 1692. You also know that I am a board member of End Witch Hunts, and that our mission is to educate on historical witch hunts as well as present-day witch hunts. And in the present-day witch hunts, we educate on the spiritual and ritual abuse cases that have gone before the courts within the last 30 years and those that are getting set to go before the courts. Today, I would like to talk about the case of Sweet Arely Naomi Proctor of San Jose, California. Arely was a 3-year-old little girl, and she wasn't feeling well. And she was living with her mother, and her uncle was staying with her mother. And the mother and the uncle were actually, quote unquote, returning to God. Okay, so when they saw signs that Arely was not feeling well, they thought that she was possessed by a demon, because she was also showing strange behavior too. So instead of getting her the medical attention that this little girl deserved, they decided that they would instead perform an exorcism to eradicate that demon rather than, again, getting the medical attention. So they worked on her in terms of exorcising the demon, or trying to exorcise that demon, throughout the night. When they realized that it wasn't working, or what they thought it wasn't working, they decided to bring her to the mother's father's church. Okay, so Arely's grandfather's church, where he was a pastor. Now, interestingly enough, this church was actually located in a house, and it was a separate room. So they start the exorcism process, and then they call Arely's grandfather to come and join them, where they would try to, quote unquote, vomit out the demon. So you can imagine all of the physical things that they were doing to this little girl who was fighting for her life. And she was screaming, and she was biting, but she still would stop and tell her mother, "I love you." And Arely sadly succumbed at the church, the quote-unquote church, on September 24th, 2021. All three of the adults have been charged, and their next court date is September 8th, 2025. We don't know exactly yet when this court case will go to trial, but you can bet that End Witch Hunts is keeping a close attention to this case, and we are following every details. So we will let you know when things change and when we get new information. Meanwhile, I did write an article on this case of Arely, and I compared it to the case of Dorothy Good, the 4-year-old little girl who was accused of witchcraft or bewitchment in 1692, and what happened with her. And that article I'm going to link in the description, and I will also link at least one other video in the description for those of you that want to know more about this case and what happened to this sweet little girl. She did not deserve what happened to her. Thank you very much.